Before the video begins, I would just like to say thank you guys so much for all the support. This video was originally supposed to be my 2K video because I made a bet with my Discord that, hey, if you get to 2K before the end of tomorrow, you have to make a bid. You have to make a 10-minute video about spatulas. I was like, there's no way I'm going to hit that tomorrow. So, yeah, I'll take that bet. Next day, I got to 2K. So, enjoy 10 minutes of me talking about the history, just lore behind spatulas. For 10 minutes. Hey guys, post-editing Ranboo here. So I decided to just make up random facts. And that just led me down a rabbit hole where I went absolutely insane. Because being tired, but also having to make up facts about spatulas, it doesn't mix well together. So I hope you guys enjoy this, because I pretty much went insane. Now, a spatula is also called a turner, a fish slice, a frying scoop, and over there in England, the spatula is a very common kitchen utensil. It has a flat end, usually with a very long handle. Now, there are different types of spatulas, such as spreaders and scrapers, each of them with their own pros and cons. John Spatula, who later went on to create the hit movie Justice League, actually created the spatula, as known in his name. Saw a fly swatter and was like, hey, I could use this instead of the pancake flipper. Now, in ancient Greece, the pancake flipper was two large sheets of metal that you would slide underneath the pancake. And it was very bad because the metal had a very low melting point, so you would just get metal in your pancakes. This is actually the reason for 20% of Greeks' deaths was metal pancakes. Now, John Spatula decided to take his old fly swatter and flip some of the pancakes with it. Now, whether or not this worked, we really never know. All we know is that his spatula lived on to outlive him and actually became a sentient being. That's a true fact, by the way. Every single spatula that you have in your house is in fact a sentient being with its own emotions. So think about that the next time you use it to scrape off burnt food off of your pan. Now, there are many types of spatulas. There are the rubber spatulas, the metal spatulas, the plastic spatulas, which don't work well with heat, because they keep on melting whenever you use them. They just disintegrate immediately. It is very inconvenient. Welp, no spatulas for this man. Now, spatulas actually have a huge amount of historical significance. You know, Zeus actually was like, hey, I need a spatula. George Washington actually used spatulas to cross the Delaware instead of paddles, because he thought that they would be more aerodynamic. Boy, oh boy, was he wrong, because aerodynamic does not relate to water. Now, thankfully, spatulas can't move because they don't have any arms, legs, or significant organs. But if they could, it would mean doomsday for us. Now, George Washington's use of spatulas to cross the Delaware was actually a huge term in JFK's speech, where he said, hey, spatulas are cool. Remember when George Washington used them to cross the Delaware? Now, JFK was yet another historical figure that used spatulas a lot. We actually see him use spatulas many, many times throughout his entire career, mainly as a microphone, because he did not understand the difference between a spatula and a microphone, because, fun fact, JFK was blind. Now, the different types of spatulas actually match your own personality type. If you like using the rubber ones to flip pancakes, you are a psychopath, because you do not use rubber spatulas to flip pancakes. You use the hard ones. I don't know why this keeps on happening, but apparently people keep on using the rubber spatulas to flip their pancakes. It is not good. The pancake goes everywhere, and it just ends up being a bad day for everyone. Now, the main use for spatulas is actually pancakes. World Health Organization actually reported that 100% of spatula use is for pancakes. Now, you may be saying, well, I used it to flip a burger. What do you think a burger is? A burger is just a meat pancake. Now, spatulas actually have a huge part in the timeline of Back to the Future Part 1, where we see in the beginning of the movie, we see breakfast. And you know what else has breakfast? Spatulas. Fun fact, the reason why Abraham Lincoln was so tall was because his legs were actually made out of about 3 different kinds of spatulas, including both rubber and hard spatulas. But did you know that Alexander Hamilton would have actually not been able to do whatever the heck he did with Treasury? I don't know the musical explain it. If it wasn't for spatulas, his wife Eliza was one day making him pancakes when she was like, yo, can you grab me the spatula? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then he grabbed the spatula for her, and that actually started a chain of events known as the butterfly effect that led him to become the president of the United States. But he didn't become, there's a whole song about why he didn't become president. Not right. It's okay, because everything else has been entirely accurate so far. Bye. Now, the pancake theory, the theory that all things are related to pancakes, actually is a very popular theory that is not taught in school due to its sheer power. Alright. Oh, okay. You gonna try this too? You gonna try this too? Come on, make the jump. Your friend did. Now, fun fact, you would actually not have your cell phone if it wasn't for spatulas, because mass production actually didn't start until the invention of the spatula, because pancakes started to become more and more popular, but people needed more and more spatulas to flip their more and more pancakes. So, ancient Greece decided, hey, let's make a supply chain, because ancient Greece knew what a supply chain was. Goodbye. Now, the first spatulas were originally just made out of a cheap kind of plastic, because the ancient Greeks actually were the first people to invent plastic. Don't look that up. Trust me, I'm right. Now, I actually have many spatulas. Let me talk about my spatula collection. I have a collection of over 10,000 different types of spatulas, and every single one of them is different, because there are a lot of different types of spatulas. There's Johnny McBrown, Brown McJohnny, Johnny McDood. Now, spatulas actually had a huge impact on Greek mythology. Now, Zeus actually, instead of wielding the lightning bolt, he originally wielded the spatula until about 1980, where people were like, hey, that's kind of dumb. You should do lightning instead. Lightning is cooler. But of course, the people in the 80s were completely wrong, because spatulas are the coolest thing to ever exist. Now, did you know that the spatula was actually the first utensil? There was no other utensils before John's spatula was like, hey, fly swatter can be used to flip pancake. Now, notice how there are actually 3 little holes in some spatulas. This actually eventually evolved into what is now known as the fork. Then they decided to close up the holes, and that evolved into what is now known as the spoon. And then they decided to make the spatulas sharp. Now, spatulas were actually used in combat in the ancient Mediterranean. I'm going to now pretend that all swords from now on are spatulas. Buddy? Not doing too. Now, look at the power of this spatula. Look at that. Really incredible. Now, to show you the true power of the spatula, I've actually been pretending this whole video that my sword, or sword as they call it, I have to talk about spatulas for how much longer? Great. Alright, spatulas are pretty cool. Now, did you know that the name spatula actually means God? Yay. Spatula power! Now, the word spatula actually has many different meanings. It derives from the ancient form of spat, meaning to spit, because people would actually spit on their pans as a form of anti-stick spray before, of course, Pam was created. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Taking all your stuff is now mine. Now mine. Now mine. Killing all your friends, they are now dead. They are now dead, and so are you. See, that is just the power of the wooden spatula. See, now we have a stone spatula. Now, the stone spatula does slightly more damage, but however, it is much heavier. Because when you think about it, this thing is made out of pure stone. I mean, stone is heavy. How come no one has thought of this? Now, spatula is actually the only common word that is understood by absolutely every single human on Earth. Go ahead, say spatula to a baby. They'll understand. They can't say anything back, but they'll understand. Now, if you say spatula to someone and they do not understand, they are actually an extraterrestrial, and you should report them to the government immediately. Now, I've actually been pretending this whole time that my sword has been a spatula, and thus I have gained the spatula power. Go ahead, roll the clips of me doing really well in PvP. Not today, sir. I mean, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And spatula. Spatulas. Do it. Come on. Come on. You can, yay. I'm using the ancient spatula technique of encouragement. Spatula. I'm going to use the ancient spatula technique of just hitting my opponent. First person to get hit ever was actually someone being hit with a spatula. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I made this when I was extremely sleep deprived, so yeah, that's why I'm insane. Thank you guys so much for the support recently on all my videos, as well as on like my TikTok, my Twitter, my Twitch especially. Like, it's just been absolutely insane. I can't thank you guys enough for it. I'm going to be uploading a stream highlights hopefully later this week that I think you guys will really enjoy. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you liked the video, then like the video. If you didn't like the video, then press the dislike button. But if you like the video so much that you want to see more of my content, then hit the subscribe button, because according to Twitch statistics, subscribe.